Hello and welcome. Welcome back. All right, I've got my fish and I've taken it out of the fridge. I've got it sitting right here. And as we talked last time, I was preparing it. I filleted it and brined it, and now it's out. And let me just give you a quick look at how it's turned out. What happens is after it brines, and I'll just bring it a little closer so you can see it, it kind of turns a little darker red. And that's what you want. That's the brine soaking in. And I brined it for about 2.5 days. Normally I do it for anywhere from 2 to 4 days, just depending on when I can get to it again. So what I do after it's brined is I rinse it off with cold water. And pretty easy process. I don't know if you can see this here. But rinse them off. And then once it's rinsed off, then what I do is I'll just turn the camera over here. So actually what I'll do is I'll put this in the sink and I'll bring the smoking rack over. Now this can get a little messy. This stuff kind of drips all over. But then I've got my racks. Now I've sprayed these racks with just a little bit of quick spray. Many times I've smoked and not used this spray, and all it does is just stick more, and this just makes it easier to clean. Alright, so there's room on here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 racks, and for some reason I only have 3, so I probably have misplaced the others. I could find them if I needed them, but I don't really have enough fish. So what I've done is on the bottom rack, or the bottom space, not the bottom, but close to the bottom, I'm going to put my biggest pieces. And what happens with those is because they take longer to cook, they're going to be closer to the heat. So the big, thick ones you put right in here, and you just put them just so they're almost touching. And what I've done is I put tin foil on the bottom. I always haven't used tin foil, but I found that all the drippings come down and they kind of make this drip catch can wear out faster. So with the tin foil on there, it makes it a lot faster and easier to put in. So we'll just throw these on there, space them out. Again, I'm putting the big thick ones on there. And there's another one. Ooh, look at this big one. Alright, so that's it for rack number 1. Now, on the second rack, now one other thing on the racks, these racks have a cross rib through here, and over the years I haven't really paid attention to which side it's on, but now I always try and put that cross rib on the bottom, so that on the top rack it's all an even height. And I'm going to put this one right here, right above it. And then continue, and get the ones that are a little bit thicker. But not quite as thick as the bottom. Actually, they're pretty much the same. Usually that happens. And then you've got a lot of really thick ones. So here they're coming out a little bit thinner. Now actually, I forgot one of my secret steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the camera and I'm going to set this up for my secret step. Alright, I had to stop the camera for a moment because I forgot a step. Step I haven't always used in the past, so it's kind of new, but I found that it really helps enhance the flavor and makes people really wonder what you've done. Now, what I've done is I've taken brown sugar. Let me move this a little bit closer so you can see it. This is brown, just regular old brown sugar. And I put it on a plate. And just like you were going to deep fry something with breadcrumbs, you just take that brown sugar and put it on there. Now because I've already placed them on here, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get them back in. Now I used to do this a little bit differently. I used to take brown sugar and mix it with soy sauce and then take a brush and brush it on. But that was taking a long time, very messy, spilling stuff all over the place. But the results were very good. People really loved it. And I find that this is basically as good. You don't get the soy sauce, but it's a lot faster and a lot less messy. So, more brown sugar. Now, I don't know really how effective this is because on my dripping pan below, most of this does drip off. I mean, it's not like it's going to thicken on there and stick. A lot of it just runs off, but a little bit sticks and people notice it, and it does give it an enhanced flavor. Now, I already used brown sugar in the brine, so it was brown sugared a little bit, so it's sweetened. And with these fish, they have a real strong flavor, so sweetening them is always a good thing. They like it. I think the fish, the fish flavor is just a little bit toned down with the brown sugar. But it's all right. So I've used pretty much this plate of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prepare another plate, and I'm going to stop the camera. So I can get another plate ready. Okay, I'm back. I've prepped my second plate of brown sugar, and I'm prepping these. And now when they have a big slit in them like that, what can happen is you can, sometimes people will actually cut these and then put their marinade or brine or preparation such as the sugar inside those slits, and it does help it a lot to soak up the flavoring you're adding to it. But after all, the fish is the flavor, and so you don't want to get too crazy with that. But now sometimes what I do is when I'm barbecuing it, I'll put those slits in it, and then I'll put butter in. And so what it does is when it's cooking on the barbecue, and you don't have to cook these very long at all. You could, theoretically, you could eat them raw. They don't even have to be cooked. But so when you cook them on the barbecue and have that butter in there, then it melts, soaks in, and then you take it off pretty fast, and you've got it all ready. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready for the next rack, and I'm going to put out some more sugar. All right, now I'm ready to do the top rack. Again, I'm only using 3 racks, not that much fish here. So the top rack is going to have the smallest, thinnest pieces, because they're not going to need to cook with this high heat. Now I've already rinsed these, so let me go ahead and prep these. Now these are the ones from the belly fat. It's not really all fat, it's just has a high fat content. And so they're very rich. It actually has a membrane on here that can be cut off, but there's no reason to. But it does keep it from soaking in as much of the flavoring in the sugar, or the brine in the sugar. So I'll go ahead and put those on. I'll leave the fins on. It gives you a good handhold. And I'll start putting a few on the top. Now usually what happens is while it's cooking, I'll pull these top pieces off, these real thin ones, because they cook fast, so they're done first. And I can't help but start eating it, you know, maybe after about 2 hours these will be done. And depending on how hot a day it is. Now, it's not that hot of a day today, so this isn't going to smoke super fast, but I think it's going to be in the 60s. And so the whole thing should smoke in about 5 hours, I guess, maybe. Some of it I might let go a little bit longer because it's those big thick pieces, and some of them I may take off a little bit sooner. And so let's get them going. And I'm running out of sugar again, which is no big deal. I don't need sugar on every piece. Matter of fact, I think I'll just do these rest of these pieces without sugar. And there's and all that meat, it looked like I was wasting on the bone, or when I missed it on the bone, I don't let it go to waste by cutting it off, and it just comes out as a real nice thin piece, and by golly, there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. As I mentioned, you can, if you were Japanese, you could make sushi, and you can cook it like in a frying pan, just like you would a regular piece. Just cooks really, really fast, but turns out delicious. Salt and pepper. Almost done. Guess I'll just leave that on. And put that one there. I'm just running out of room, so this is good that I'm almost done. Get on there, just hang over the edge. And the last one, hang it over the edge. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, all depends, I'll just pop it right in the smoker. But really, it might be good just to let it air dry a little bit. I haven't really tried that much in the past. Usually I just, it's all one big motion. Finish it up, pop it in the smoker, and start it cooking. If I air dry it, the sugar on top might harden a little bit and not all run off so fast. So, let's just let that dry for a little bit. Alright, so let's get ready to take the fish out. The fish has been drying for a little bit, and now what I've got to do is carry it out to where the smoker is without spilling a lot of stuff on the rug. I'm known for spilling a lot of stuff. Actually, we've kind of taken out the rug between the kitchen and the garage, so I don't have to worry too much about that, although I'd still spill quite a bit of stuff. So, oops, it doesn't help if you hit the chair. Okay, so now I'm carrying it out. And I'm going to set it in the smoker. Just, whoops. Set it in there. Let it all the way down. Okay, so there it is in the smoker. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some chips in. The chips I'm using today are cherry chips. These are from Chris, who lives across the street, who used to live across the street. And he gave me a fish one time to smoke for him and gave me these chips. And I forgot to give them back to him. So I'll go ahead and use those. So thank you, Chris. And oh, by the way, Chris, you can have those eggs too. I saw on Facebook where you asked for them. So let me go ahead and put that in there. Now, I'm actually smoking in the front yard, and I can smoke in the backyard, and I've done it many times. It's covered and pretty nice, but I like doing it out here because then all the neighbors can see the smoke and know what I'm doing and start getting jealous. So that's what I enjoy. So now let me mark the time, 11:15. And I'll put the lid on here and let this smoke. Probably these top pieces, the thin pieces, will probably be done in about 2 hours. And the others probably about 5-6 hours. So I'll get back and show you the rest later. Okay, there it is. It's smoking like crazy. I just took the top off. And it's been about 4.5 hours. The top pieces should be done. I'm sure they're done. Actually, I've already tasted them and they were delicious. The thin top ones, you can see those right here. They're done. doesn't hurt to keep cooking them. They just get crispy, and some people like them real crispy. The other pieces, the thicker pieces, if you like your stuff rare, like sushi, then they're plenty done. But most people like them, they call them moist. Most people like them a little drier, or a little bit moist. So there's a lot of, excuse me, the smoke bothers me a lot. There's a lot of variation in how well done they can be. They can be undercooked. I've had some that have been what I consider to be way overcooked, and people who prepared those have been top-notch guides and stuff, and that's just the way they like them. They like them chewy, like jerky, fish jerky. So it's no big deal to keep them cooking. Doesn't matter at all. And let's take a look at the chips. And this is my second refill on chips. So in 4.5 hours, I've only filled the tray with once, and now I filled it again. And so the smoke doesn't really make all that difference. You give it the smoke once over, and it's absorbed about as much smoke as you're really going to taste. The rest is just for show. So now I think it does create a little bit more heat to have the smoke going, because they got the fire underneath the batch there. But as far as taste goes, I don't know if continual smoke is going to help at all. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the top back on and keep it going for a while. Okay, here we go. Time to bring in the fish. It cooked for, let's see, 4, 5, 6, about 6.5 hours. And the top pieces, the thin ones that I was mentioning that didn't need to cook so long, they have cooked a long time, and they've come out pretty nice. I've already, you can see there's a few blank spots, maybe you can see on there. There's a few blank spots because I've ate a few just as I was testing it along the way, and it seemed like they were all cooking very nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little plate, take some off. Now if any of these need more cooking, I'll put them back on. Maybe I can either put them in the oven. Sometimes air drying helps. Here's some of the top ones. This is one that has the membrane on it that has a lot of fat on it, or I should say oil. So you break that open and you can see that it's pretty oily there, and it's absolutely delicious. Let me just take a taste of that. Now, I'm not just eating in front of the camera to show off. I'm actually determining whether I want to put it back on. So I think it's going to be okay. I mean, this could be cooked more. And this is a top piece, so they don't cook quite as fast as the bottom. Let me get a towel here. Okay, I'm back. Let's take a look at one of the bottom pieces, a big thick one. This is one that obviously would take a lot longer to cook. So let's break it open and take a look. And here it is. I'll go ahead and take a taste on that. It's very, very good. A lot of people would like it drier. And I think I probably will put these in the oven. I'm not going to put them back out on the smoker. So let me take off the top ones. And I can throw a few of them in the oven for just a little bit. Here's another piece. Again, just a little bit drier is how a lot of people like them. But this is my smoking process, and it's all done. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you on that. And hopefully I'll be getting more fish and doing more smoking, maybe some different recipes. Oh, and thank you for watching.